After 2 years of living with this coronavirus pandemic, the countless livelihoods that have been destroyed, the businesses that have been closed, the children missing out on their education, pretty much ruining their entire childhoods, it'd be nice to think that there's some relief on the horizon, some ease coming our way. Unfortunately, that's not the case. The next pandemic is just around the corner. It's imminent. So what will it be? Will it be a new variant, a new type of coronavirus? Will it be a Megatron Deltacron flu? No. The next pandemic isn't physical, but it's digital. What's up, tribe? Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. Now, the purpose of these videos is not to create fear and panic, but to raise awareness. We're essentially powerless in what we can do. The group of people that run the show, let's just call them the elite, don't care about you and I and our families and our livelihoods. They only care about fulfilling their warped reality of what they think the world should be like. Let me take you back 6 months prior to the first case of COVID being discovered in Wuhan. The World Economic Forum ran an event called Event 201. What that is, leaders from around the world all sit around a table and they run a simulation as to how they would handle certain events. You know, we'll do this and then we'll do that if that happens. Now, I'm going to play a clip from Event 201. Now, keep in mind, this is 6 months before anyone even heard anything about COVID-19.
On behalf of our center and our partners, the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to our audience here in New York, as well as our larger virtual audience participating online today. The Event 201 scenario is fictional. Today's scenario is going to simulate meetings of a multi-stakeholder group called the Pandemic Emergency Board.
We're at the start of what's looking like it will be a severe pandemic. And there are problems emerging that can only be solved by global business and governments working together.
There's been some conspiracy theories that are around about the potential that pharmaceutical companies or the UN have released this for their own benefit.
And maybe this is a time for us to showcase some cases where we are able to bring forward some bad actors and leave it before the courts to decide whether they have actually spread some fake news.
Isn't it interesting and a little bit unusual that they're running a simulation about a potential pandemic that could kill millions of people, and one of the first agendas that they speak about is online misinformation and conspiracy theorists.
A new coronavirus. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia.
In related news, a significant demand for personal protective equipment like N95 masks and gloves are on the rise. Patients are overwhelming healthcare facilities. People are avoiding public spaces out of fear of infection and in compliance with public health recommendations. Our U.S. affiliate has just released polling results on public expectations for a vaccine, and 65% of those polled are eager to take the vaccine, even if it's experimental.
Keep in mind, this is 5 to 6 months prior to them discovering the first case in Wuhan. The accuracy, what they're talking about, the fact that a certain amount of people will be willing to take a vaccine, even if it's experimental. It's eerily similar, isn't it?
Not optimistic about having a vaccine in time to be relevant during this pandemic.
With enough money and political will, anything is possible.
Penalties have been put in place for spreading harmful falsehoods, including arrests.
If the solution means controlling and reducing access to information, I think it's the right choice.
The world saw large-scale protests and in some places riots. This led to violent crackdowns in some countries and even martial law. The public lost trust in their respective administration. Economists say the economic turmoil caused by such a pandemic will last for years. The societal impacts, the loss of faith in government, the distrust of news, and the breakdown of social cohesion could last even longer. We have to ask, did this need to be so bad?
Now, they would never plan such a thing. Obviously, it's a coincidence. But the accuracy, the details of the events, it's like watching a recap of the past 2 years. So with all of those coincidental similarities, it'd be in our best interest to pay attention to the various agendas listed on the World Economic Forum's website. One of those agendas is called Cyber Polygon. Now, Cyber Polygon is about how to handle a mass cyber attack. This next clip is of the leader of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, discussing Cyber Polygon and encouraging leaders to join them.
We need vaccines to immunize ourselves. The same is true for cyber attacks. Here too, we have to move from simple protection to immunization. We need to build IT infrastructures that have digital antibodies built in inherently to protect themselves. In conclusion, I would like to state again how essential it is to see the high number of leaders that join the Cyber Polygon this year. During the course of today, we will test how to work together across organizations, across borders, and across the public and private sector. This is a significant step in preparing for an even more highly connected and, I hope, a highly secure and trusted future.
Now, at face value, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with that. They obviously want to prepare for a big cyber attack in order to make sure that corporations and individuals are all protected. But did you notice the very select choice of words? Immunize the internet to create digital antibodies. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? These people are obsessed with mass vaccination, so much so they want to inoculate technology. Now, in the past few weeks, with the war that's going on in Ukraine, they've started to really ramp up the talk about potential cyber attacks.
But look, today my administration is issuing new warnings that based on evolving intelligence, Russia may be planning a cyber attack against us. And as I said, the magnitude of Russia's cyber capacity is fairly consequential.
And we're doing so based on evolving threat intelligence, that the Russian government is exploring options for potential cyber attacks on critical infrastructure.
Based on the accuracy of the prediction of the coronavirus pandemic at Event 201, you have to take Cyber Polygon seriously. How will this impact us? Will the internet be down for an hour, for a day, for a week, or for a month? How will we regain access to the internet? Will it be somehow linked up to the digital ID that's being pushed by the UN? We know the World Economic Forum and partners do not like decentralized cryptocurrencies. Instead, they would much prefer a central bank digital currency where all transactions are recorded on a single ledger. Will they require you to put in a unique username and password before you use the internet? That way they know everything that you do. Think QR code check-ins, vaccine passports. They've been normalizing this sort of behavior for a number of years now. No one knows exactly what this will look like when it does occur, besides the elite. What I do know is that it will further push the digitalization and surveillance of the world.